this is the shade sail project as it stands now. It'll be up until the end of the month, May 31st, and it'll go through different iterations. I've been playing around with positions and angles and structures as a way to get this up overhead. And the goal eventually is to make this seem as if it's floating as much as possible, and making these posts kind of disappear, because they're not necessarily a part of the work, or I don't intend for them to be eventually. So this is all experimental, but I do invite you to come and check it out. I see two ways of entering the piece: as either observing the path on the ground and walking that path as you would a labyrinth, or sitting, standing underneath, or even lying down and watching or tracing the line in the sky. I would look forward to scaling up. Well, having the shade cloth up in the air overhead and seeing the shapes on the ground and mapping some of those shapes. Originally, my ideas had to do with being gentle, or the impermanence of light and time of day making shapes or creating a space for people to enter. But seeing those shapes and spaces on the ground and learning about the area, the resources here, or the materials here, such as limestone and coal, all of that came together to generate another idea where I'd like to use limestone and coal to make a larger scale walking path on the ground. And I didn't expect that. So I'm excited to see where that goes from here. The open studio residency for me has given me the chance to explore some directions without knowing exactly where they were going to go. Making for me is kind of a way to learn. So instead of having something to say yet, it's a way for me to learn from what I'm doing, or the environment that I'm making in, or from engagements with the community. So in this case, learning about my work after I move into making it. So the open studio residency has given me the chance to explore and move on hunches, or into or through resistance. In some ways, maybe we could show a picture of the hopscotch piece. There was some resistance, but in the spirit of, I didn't know what that piece was about or what it is yet. I still don't know. But to have the space here to make without knowing has been a huge gift, because I then learn a lot from having made that work. And there have been surprises. I've had intentions, and I've got a history of working, and maybe even an aesthetic that I return to, or concepts that I return to. But again, to move into those and then follow curiosity as tangents alongside those has been probably one of the most fruitful experiences of being here at the Josephine Sculpture Park. And also the programming that I've been able to be a part of here, the night walks or the night talks, learning about astronomy, having the space to make in the studio or out here, and then enter some other educational opportunities that I hadn't expected. New concepts come up or resonate with each other. So, for example, a lot of my work or my process invites people to interact with each other or consider their proximity with each other, their distance from each other, and learning about how we measure the distance of celestial bodies or objects, planets, distant stars. It got me thinking about my own work again in a different way. So there's a piece we might be able to look at here called, I guess I'm calling Blue Shift. It's a drawing activity or an action that two people would do with each other that will expose the blue of the sky, but the concept that I learned within astronomy and distance is that we're able to measure distance by the color spectrum. And so if I have this right, as objects become closer, the wavelengths change toward blue in the spectrum of color. And I think just that felt like a poetry almost, a science and a poetry coming together, talking about distance or closeness or movement in that way. This residency is also unique for me in that there's been some private studio space to workshop ideas, and then this more public outdoor space to set up the ideas or the things I'm making at a larger scale than I've been able to in the past. But even maybe more of an impact has been seeing the community engage or see their curiosity, or either for me as an artist to be able to observe how people are interested in engaging with the work, or directly talking with people that are visiting and learning, learning from the work what ideas or concepts they have about the work or associations. So I would say it's been a massive educational experience for me in ways that I wouldn't have been able to plan for, just because of the people that I've met and the space I've had to explore.